is Will, coming to you live, doing the state of Missouri. One of my peers on Facebook reached out and asked me some questions about Missouri. So I thought I'd take a couple of moments and just do a quick video on some data trends I see with Missouri. Now, so here's one thing. I am not a prognosticator in the sense where I'm communicating playing a lottery every day. I don't do that. To me, that doesn't make sense. What I do espouse is looking at the data trends, and it's sort of like a bus schedule. You know, if you sort of mentally picture it this way, if you're at a bus stop and you're waiting for the bus to come, so mentally think about that in the same way as the lottery. If you're waiting for a number or a particular draw and you're trying to figure out when to catch it, when you're outside, are you jumping on every day, just blindly jumping on something every day, or do you wait until it comes? So if you see a trend happening, then you could time it a little better. So that's sort of the metaphor. So think about that for a second. So the folks who are telling you guys, hey, play every day, play this number every day, that just doesn't make any sense. If you don't see a bus outside, then why go outside? If you don't see the trend happening, then why play? And that's sort of my take with anything lottery or just anything. It's all about timing. So I'm preaching data and I'm also preaching timing, because without that, you're just blindly jumping and following advice that ultimately you're just going to waste money and you're not going to have any success. So anyway, let's get into Missouri. Missouri, you have some real interesting data trends. So I'm looking at the past winners for Missouri. This is all of July thus far. And I'm going to do the same thing for pick 4. But at first, let's take a look at pick 3. So I'm an advocate of playing the numbers that have the most chance of winning, but we're going to reduce my spend. What do I mean by that? So most states, when they introduced lottery, they came out with a daily 1 draw per day lottery system. And then not system, but 1 daily lottery draw, just 1. But then as they wanted more revenue, I'm assuming that's the reason they started having like a daily draw. So now most states have a daily draw, but that doesn't mean that you can't go back to former months and look at the past trends for, your state. The thing about Missouri, the lottery, I took a quick look, and it looks like most of the data started coming in around 1997, 1998 for pick 3 and pick 4. Trust me, I have it. I just took a quick look. It looks like it started somewhere in November of 1997, something to that effect. But at any rate, the unfortunate thing, the state lottery Missouri website only goes back 180 days. So you can't look at all that data and try to make decisions on that. So if that's your only tool, the Missouri lottery website, then you're out of luck. You have to go find a tool or create your own tool that gives you all the history of that state so you can make better decisions. Fortunately, My Lotto data has that. It's a tool that has all data for all states, all games. So you can use data, historical data, to make better decisions. So with that being said, let's just take a look at it. And again, if you have this information, you'll see the same thing as I do. These are all facts. These are facts. So this is the last data that's being reported for Missouri, July. And when I look at this, I see a couple of different trends. You see with this clustering right here, 2005, that's where most of the entries appear to come from. You see how when we're up here at the top, again, this is all the data for the current July 2021 month. You see how it's sort of thin up here around 2001, it's kind of thin. You have a couple of hits right here, and that's actually pretty encouraging. you have a couple of hits right here because anything before, definitely before or around 2001, you're going to get that single, like daily draw. So this could be an opportunity. But when I look a little below, you see how it really starts to take off, cluster right here. So you got 18 out of the last 20, I think you're up at 52 draws now, have come out of 2005. You see that? Well, just 2005 May. But if you look, you see March, May, this is July. So that's, what is that? 32, 9, 40, 41. 41 out of the last 52 draws for pick three have come out of 2005, sort of like this 2005 cluster. So that's really fascinating to me. That I would consider, some type of data trend. Is it one of my most accurate ones? It depends. It depends on how the data pans out. But if I scroll down below, if you're seeing this Missouri peer, these are the numbers that I would concentrate, especially this 2626. That seems to be very popular. So I would definitely concentrate on that. Why am I saying all this? It depends on the type of player you are. If you're a casual player, then spending maybe $42, I'm assuming that it's 50 cents in your state. Spending $42 may be, a big spend, or maybe even spending $84 may be a big spend. So I definitely don't want to tell people how, economically they should allocate their resources. What I espouse, and I've said this before, if you're going to be in the lottery business or lottery gambling, look at the data, look at historical data, and then make better decisions. There were some really fascinating trends that I saw earlier too that happened earlier with Missouri. But I'm not going to make this a long episode. I just wanted to point out to my new Missouri friend, that take a look at some of this data here. And this is for 20. This is probably for your next draw. 2005 seems to be very trendy. And you also see 2006 too. I'm just going to take it off of that and put it on 2006 so you can see it. Very trendy. The last 52 cycles. See, that's $174. That may be expensive to some people, but this is what the data shows. Well, let me break that apart a little bit. So when I first started getting into lottery, most of you know I do all of my sleuthing by date. I don't come up with grids or charts or mirrors or arrange numbers in fancy ways. I always look at the date because historically these lotto numbers have what I like to call friends, and the friends, like any other friend, like to hang out with each other. So if I see a number that's pretty popular, I just start doing research on that trend, and lo and behold, that friends show up, and those friends happen to be very lucrative, if you know what I mean. So that's what I play. I find the friends of the friends. This lottery, mylottodata.com, is very skilled at finding friends of friends. And then I email that to myself. I'm just going to do that. And then I play those numbers. But I usually play big. And that's another reason why mylottodata.com tool is such a really cool tool. It doesn't just find one or two numbers. It gives you pairs of numbers. So if you look, you see that number 187, that's 3 times. And that number 791, 197, 791, 791, 791, that is your data set to play. So if you play it and it happens to come up, you don't just win once, you win multiple times. With mylottodata.com, with this particular algorithm, it's always going to give you a pair of numbers to play, sometimes multiple pairs of numbers. So you can rest assured if your profile matches, and here I'm going to go on and say this, I feel very confident that the next draw, and then when I say the next draw, I'm not sure if Missouri has happened yet. The next draw, especially in the next 1 or 2 days, it's going to have one of these numbers in it. It just goes without fail. That's just how powerful this tool is. I usually try to hit when I play. I usually try to follow a trend, and I usually try to hit that day. But if you were to stretch it out, it's totally fine. So take a look at this data set. It's 2006. That seems to be very trendy with this particular month profile. I'm also going to put it back on. I saw a couple of other small data trends up here, like 2001. That could be advantageous. It's a smaller data set. It's $24. That could be advantageous. And you may even see some overlap with the numbers that we saw in some of the later months, like 2006. But anyway, that's 2000. This is pick 3. And this is just a quick data set. So if you're like my peer, New Missouri friend, she saw this video and she wrote down some of the numbers and played them, and she got a pretty big win. I was so excited about that, and I'm really excited that you allowed you're taking the time to just hear me out and listen to my video. I really appreciate that, and that's what this is about. I am for your success, and see you on the other side. And good wagering, good betting. MyLottoData.com. Wager intelligently, spend less, win more. Take care.